Yeah, we're live. Just trying out some bit different kind of a waiting screen. That's why you still just see the Evil Number 4 Gaming. Noticing a couple little places I need to do touch-ups on this. Little speck of white there on the 4. Let's go and get this going. Get it switched back. Let's see, is the game gonna come up now? Okay, game's up. Good morning to you too. As you can see, we're going to be playing Shadowrun Hong Kong today. Figured, since I'm already playing 2 strategy games on the channel right now, I didn't want to do a 3rd one for the live stream. So I decided to play a role-playing game instead. And I know a little bit about Shadowrun. I've never played the tabletop game, but I have seen the other computer games being played. Shadowrun Returns and I can't remember what the other one's called. Dragonfall. That's what it is, the second game. And this is the 3rd one, Hong Kong. I've seen a Let's Play of it, so I know the story. I know the twists and turns and stuff, but I haven't beat the game. I played about halfway through. Let's get started with a new character. What's the difference between this? Okay, so that's the, like, epilogue. Yeah. Now we'll go normal difficulty. I've enjoyed playing Deckers so far in the games. And the Deckers they give you, like the NPC Deckers, they're trash. So I might end up doing a little decking. Let's see, I was kind of thinking, though, probably going something like an orc, maybe an orc street samurai, be like a DPS guy. I think some of these portraits are new, but it's been a while since I played, so I don't know if they added more or not. I don't know. Sometimes like just the character models I'm real picky with. A lot of them I don't really like. I like this portrait though, so I might do something like that and then go ahead and go Decker. That one reminds me of someone, but I can't think of who. And there's definitely a lot of new ones. This is good. Might go human. Just go starting race that's average across everything. So don't have any weaknesses or anything to deal with later. looks kind of neat. There are a lot more portraits than I remember. And now we made it full circuit back. Let's see what they have for elves. I think I'll go and be human. Do that portrait. Yeah, more like that. Let's see. I haven't played a mage very much in this. That might be something to play around with, but we went with someone with cybernetics. So being somewhere where that won't give a... Okay. Choosing somewhere that won't, where the cybernetics won't be a issue later on. Riggers are always fun. I do a rigger, a decker, and a rigger that does decking. It's not a bad choice. See. I think I'll do a street samurai that does some decking on the side. It's a bit more combat oriented. That for an etiquette. We'll get socialite as an etiquette because I know there's something good that you can get with that. I just don't remember what it is. And that's all we'll do for charisma right now. Nothing in willpower. Do that for now from decking. Spend 1 point there. And now let's see, put one more into quickness. Now one more into ranged combat, into ranged combat, and let's see. Rifles are nice. I'm going to take rifles, and probably pull some into shotgun or SMGs later too. Pretty average character. Okay, that should be fine. We get the other etiquette, our free one. Take corporate. So, etiquette-wise, which is like knowing how to act in certain social situations, we're dealing with corporate and socialite. Let's see, first name for this character. I'll go some simple. Let's call him John. Last name. I'll go Black. I have a reason for that, and you'll see when the story starts. Straight name. Evil 4. Gotta stick with channel name. Now it's time for cinematic.
You have one new message.
Hi. It's Raymond. I hope I have the right number. Look, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I need your help. Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story, that if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. Yeah. I was wrong. I'm on my way to Hong Kong now, to finish something I should have faced a long time ago. And I need you with me. I know we're not blood, and we didn't leave things in a good place, but you and Duncan are the only real family I have. Please, if our past means anything to you, meet me in Hong Kong right away. I'll explain more when you get here. I'm begging you. I'm almost out of time.
I never realized how much that looked like Aku, but it's not. But that would have been funny if they did make that thing Aku. I never made that connection before with its looks. Ugh. Let's see. Raymond Black. The old man gave you a home once. Took you and Duncan off the gang-run streets of the Barrens. Sheltered, educated, slapped sense into you both until you almost resemble productive members of society. And then you took off. Left it all behind. Landed behind bars for a time. Tried to start a new life after that. It's been 8 years since you've heard Raymond's voice. Till out of the blue you got this cryptic message, a plea for help. Meet me in Hong Kong. Right away. And wired to your account enough new yen to pay for the flight and then some. The descent is rough. A squall comes out of nowhere, sending a solid sheet of rain punching into the suborbital transport. With a rugged shudder, the plane finally skids to a halt at the edge of the Chiclep tarmac. I hope I said that right. An hour and an intermediate number of emotionless security checkpoints later, you hail a water taxi to Victoria Harbor. Hong Kong looms ahead, pulsing with energy. Well, that makes it more enjoyable. I didn't think of that. I might have to take a little bit of melee and get a katana. You step from the churning of the water taxi to the ponderous rocking of the docks, your stomach lurching at the transition. As soon as you're clear, the captain nods once and steers the small vessel back into the harbor. The man never said a word, just handed you a worn brown duffel bag when you stepped on board filled with gear. Some stiff new body armor and a note. Better safe than sorry. D. Above, smog-thick clouds hang low in the sky, reflecting the lights of the city in a nauseating swirl. The wind changes direction more than once, creating a heady stew of aromas, diesel, sea salt, street food, and filth. It's all you can do to keep your in-flight meal where it belongs. Let me know if I'm doing a good job reading this stuff, and if I'm not, I'll just give you guys a second to be able to read it yourself. And we can just continue on. Two figures stand waiting in the dim light of the pier. The first is an orc, lean, with in-your-face muscles and a jaw made to break fists. The second an elf, one hand resting casually against her hip. Raymond Black is nowhere to be seen. Well, don't you look like shit. Duncan Wu, the closest thing you've had to a brother. You haven't seen the man in 8 years, still as charming as ever. He grins Green's not really your color, John. Doesn't go with that nice new armor I got you. As you open your mouth to respond, something shifts alarmingly in your stomach, a liquid bubbling sensation. Well, of course we're going to tough it out. Of course, we're going to tough it out. We're the tough street samurai fighting the evil not Haku. Don't know what you're talking about. Must be the harbor lights messing with you. Must be. Guess you still got some of your old fortitude at least. He laughs. Considering how much synthol we used to put down. Synthol? I guess I'm saying that right. Like synthetic alcohol. I'd be surprised if you can handle a little chop. Anyway, we gotta find Raymond. Let's see, find Raymond. I thought he'd be here. Okay. Let's see. Never showed up. He's still got that same baritone rasp. Had it since he was 12. Wu developed early. See, did you try him on calm? Nah, just been walking around the dock shouting his name. He says it as a joke. There's a note of concern in his voice. I've been trying him for the last hour. No answered. You seem kind of tense. You eating enough fiber? My colon's fine, thanks. Wu rubs his head. He's an old man, and he's out there alone somewhere. See, Ray's a smart guy. He can take care of himself. The orc bows his head. His voice sounds far away. He's not the same, John. Raymond hasn't been himself in a long time. The Raymond that I remember was a bit distant to begin with. This is different. He's been restless, staying in his study and inside his own head a lot, and he barely sleeps anymore. I've been worried about him, but I haven't figured out what to do about it. He looks up at you and shrugs. I didn't have a brother to turn to. Hell, wasn't too sure you're still even alive until Raymond managed to track down your number. The woman standing beside him breaks in. We should get going, Duncan. Head back to the meeting point in case your dad shows up. Copy that, Sarge. They're wearing Lone Star body armor. Looks like Duncan Wu's gone private police. You his partner? Unfortunately, got a big tongue tied there. Unfortunately, yes. Though partner is not the right word for it exactly. I like superior officer better. She grins. I let him carry my coffee for me. Write my parking tickets. That kind of thing. The woman taps her chest with an armored finger. Carter. I figured I could use some backup. Didn't know what Raymond got himself into. I wasn't sure you were going to show up. It's a tossed-off remark, but there's an undercurrent of resentment in it. No surprise. Here I am. Yeah, well, I wasn't so sure, you know. He shakes his head. Hey, look, I'm glad you're here, John. Seriously. But I'm going to need some time to get used to having you around again. Been a while since I've heard from you. Know what I mean? Memories of sleepless nights and the lockup flash by. Wondering if you ever see Duncan or Raymond again. Wondering if you even wanted to. And then, stepping out to the daylight, suddenly free. The fallout of some obscure corporate restructuring. A few hundred yuan worth of apologies from your former jailers, and a decision to start a new life, to leave the past behind, all of it, until now. Yeah, we'll talk about it later, okay? Wu stares at you, his goggles reflecting the harbor lights. Yeah, okay. He scans the waterfront, frowning. Let's just find Raymond. He's supposed to meet us in the plaza on the other side of the pier. The sooner we find him, the sooner you can have a big, happy family reunion over dinner. Carter grins, and the sooner I can find a place to get drunk around here. Damn right. You take a deep breath. A lot of reading. Ahead of you, Hong Kong rises serpent-like from the sea. Government and megacorp coil together, weathering in their basket of institutionalized corruption. No one can tell where the snake body ends and its tail begins. That's what Raymond used to say. Duncan turns and starts on the pier. Carter follows. Look around the pier. Don't remember. What do I have weapon-wise? Or do I even have anything? Okay. That was standard rifle. See, fresh construction is expanding the harbor out into the water. I went away. Come back. Something about corporations. Okay, that's from the director's cut. The guard shack at the end of the pier is dark and empty. Duncan gives the gate a push, but it doesn't budge. Huh, well, this was opened earlier. Duncan frowns. Looks pretty solid. I guess we'll have to find another way to reach the plaza. Guess so. Strangers don't here, though, isn't it? Carter shrugs. Who knows? It's Hong Kong. Not exactly sure how things work around here. Come on, Rookie. We can cut through the construction site. I hate it when you call me that. See, the gate is locked, but the nearby control panel appears accessible. Carter pulls it open with a metallic screech that pierces your skull, sending a new wave of pain down to your churning stomach. She examines the control panel for a moment, then throws Will a backward glance. Look like there's another way off the docks on the other side of the gate. I think I can bypass the lock. Stand aside, let her work. Carter fills with some wires and the door opens with door lock hisses open. Got it, let's go. Movement. Nope. First combat. Shouting in Cantonese. See, the group on the dock was fishing a package out of a speedboat when you surprised them. Now the package is at the bottom of the bay and the speedboat disappearing in the distance. They close on you, red-faced and yelling. The light of the harbor glints off their weapons as they approach. The leader shouts something in Cantonese, but it's too fast to make out. You're rusty. It's been years since Raymond's house. The language lessons that won't end. The old man never spoke anything but his native language at home. Wu speaks with authority. His Cantonese is as solid as ever. He never let it drop. You guys doing some late night fishing? The smuggler smiles. Oh yeah, we're fishing for assholes. Wu points at their weapons. You're gonna need some better bait. All you're gonna catch with that is trouble. Seriously, did they teach you that in rent-a-cop school? He turns to you with a smile starting on his face. Then he thinks better of it, turns back to the smugglers. Wu flashes his badge. Lone Star, put the guns down. The smuggler squints at Wu's badge and smiles at his friends. Never seen a badge like that before. Either it's fake or you're some kind of security guard. He grasps his rifle. Either way, this ends the same. I think he's done talking. I don't need help for combat. Move here. Well, they have a mage. Try to take the mage out first, and we missed. Oof. Okay, it's Duncan's turn now. Okay, he's gonna have a better time hitting that mage. And then Carter. And okay. Let's try that. That was bad. And that guy has a baseball bat. And that guy has a shotgun. Okay. Okay, Carter and cover. Armor up Duncan. cast the magic again. So that guy's out of cover now. Don't know why my voice cracked like that. Just got a shotgun left, and he's just kind of waiting around for people to close in on him. Hitting this guy, and I guess it makes sense he is back behind cover. There we go. Can we finish this guy there? He's done with. So they were over here, I think. Yeah, basically smuggling. Let's see what's in the crate. Toko, an illegal street drug made from the leaked kamikaze formula. Okay, take that to sell later. It's another gate panel. This one's been vandalized, busted up good. A real nightmare of a repair job. Wu stares at the fence considering. Loops and whirls of razor wire glitter in the lamplight. Looks the edge with monofilament. Corporations here don't screw around. See, Duncan and I have hopped plenty of fences before. It'll be fine. She smirks. No, it won't. They use this kind of concertina. I'm not sure saying that right. On prison walls back in the UCAS. Goes through bone like a propeller through sea foam. Duncan nods his head. We aren't touching it. How about it, Carter? Think you can get the gate open? She winks at him. What do you think? She eyeballs the job. It'll take me a few minutes, though. Frowning, she leans in to get a close look at the mangled fuse box. A few seconds later, she starts pulling wires and making fuses. A look of intense concentration on her face. She's competent. In Cantonese, John. He sounds like Raymond when he does that. In Cantonese, the pen of my aunt is sitting on the end table. Satisfied? He shakes his head, continues in Cantonese. You want to be a dick about this, John? We're in Hong Kong, only Cantonese from here on out. Just like when we lived at Raymond's place. Those endless drills are about to pay off. Just like at Raymond's. Nods once satisfied, then turns his back and scans the horizon. At least you can still handle yourself in a fight. Did you doubt it? His back's still to you. Nope. The silence between you gets louder, heavier. Then it's broken by a sudden welling screech. Wu's hand goes to his holster. The screech is replaced by the sound of grinding wheels. Glancing over to the console, you see Carter grinning back at you. Got it. Continue on. More combat. The light from nearby vendor's stall stabs into your eyes, triggering a throbbing ache in the back of your skull. You stop short, squinting, as rough voices drift in on the wind. Where's everyone else? Where's the damned shipment? Haven't seen them yet. We just got here. The voice becomes irritated. Luke Gui's probably waiting for us. so we can haul it out of the boat for him. That lazy bastard. Let's just hang out here. Let him find us. Looks like we're on a stroll through Smuggler Central. The gangers don't know we're here. We could probably just slip past, or we could clip them. They're already looking for us. Might be better to take them out now, while we got the element of surprise on our side. Get everyone in cover. Oh, I got a grenade. And I missed. It still hit someone though. No, it looks like I hit myself too. Burn me up. They're all gathered up together. Left. And he's shooting me. There we go. They're all down. So I can pick something up from their bike. Oh, a health kit. That's nice. Not what I wanted to click. There we go. Get some health back. Nope, just gain Karma point. I don't think there's anything we can do with this one at this point. Well, there probably is just not anything that'll be useful for the character build. And found some Ian by the docks. See, crossing the street, you can make out 4 shadowy figures loitering in the plaza ahead. Tro, Orc, Dwarf, Elf. 2 men, 2 women. They're different from the smugglers on the dock. Alert, poised, professional. You can see they've made a token attempt to conceal their weapons. The unspoken message is clear. We're strapped. Mind your manners. Wu stands up tall. Takes that amused tone he gets whenever he starts to go toe with someone bigger. Someone who doesn't know they're about to go down. Evening, folks. You got permits for those bazookas? The thick troll pulls his mouth into a comic frown. Permits? Give me a minute. Makes a show of patting his pockets. Nope, guess not. Must have dropped mine in the dumpster, along with the last lady who stepped to us. Wu coolly surveys the scene, nods in a friendly fashion. Is that right? Well then. You can almost feel Wu's cop training kick in. It's like watching a drone execute a command routine. He reaches for his rifle, brings it up quick, but it's too late. By the time it hits his shoulder level, an assortment of nasty-looking ordnance is already trained on his head. Not a good move. Carter backs him up. She whips her arms forward, fists blazing with magical fire. Her eyes sweep the scene, darting from one figure to the other. Alright, everyone just be cool. The thick Trill's voice is casual. Amused, he shakes his gun in Wu's face. A little late for that, isn't it? So you put your hands in your pockets. Listen, guys, my stomach's doing somersaults. How about we all pour our guns down before someone gets hurt? The thick Trill snorts a laugh. The guy looks like he could use an enema. That guy. I guess he's talking about Duncan. Something we can do for you, officer? Wu jaw tightens, but his tone stays cool and controlled. I'm looking for an old man, Raymond Black. We were supposed to meet him here. You know him? The Trill nods his enormous head. Mm-hmm. Wu's voice gets an edge. You can see a vein on his temple start to pulse. Where is he? Carter sees it too, keeping her voice neutral. Easy, Duncan. The Trill maintains... Sorry, checking the time. The Trill maintains amused eye contact, but his weapon stays trained on Wu. That's right. Easy, Duncan. Your friend Raymond never showed. We've been waiting for him for the better part of an hour. So you think everyone can put their guns down? His voice is steady, but it's clear he's coiled. I don't think so. Not till I get some answers. Like? He mutters through gritted teeth. Like why a group of heavily armed assholes are meeting a little old man at a construction site at midnight. The orc girl chimes in. Her tone is light. She's trying to diffuse the situation. We do odd jobs. For money. Wu speaks softly. But you know, that means he's reached the end of his rope. He cracks his neck. Pop, pop. What kind of jobs? She gets a wary look in her eyes. Her answer is flippant. Odd jobs, this and that. See, what did he want with you? The Trill's yellow-brown tusks shift into a smile again. He needed friends, the heavily armored kind. The old man hired us to take you all on a little excursion. Wu's bro pharaohs hired you. Takes a moment, looks them over. They're an odd assortment. A cyber-dubbed troll, an orc girl with magical fetishes, a dwarf with a cyber deck slung on her back, and a tall man standing behind them. Inscrutable. All with guns trained on Wu. Understanding spreads across Wu's face. His jaw tightens. You're Shadowrunners. The troll nods. Mm-hmm. Wu's shoulders creep up. His stance tightens. This is bullshit. Raymond would never hire Shadowrunners. They're criminals. The troll corrects him. Mercenary operatives. The dwarf cuts in. Her voice is soft, but strong. Criminal mercenary operatives. So yeah, you're right. Your buddy Raymond was associated with a bunch of hardened criminals. The troll tosses Wu a sideways smile by staring down the barrel of his gun. Sorry to burst your bubble, Lone Star. Guess you didn't know the old man as well as you thought, huh? Give me a second. Need a drink. Wu tries to shake it off, but he's struggling to process the information. You can feel the heat coming off of him. The runners sense it too, and they tense up tight. They're keyed on Duncan, and their guns are big. I don't think the elf's gun's pretty big. It looks like he's holding a pistol. The look on their faces make it clear. One wrong bead of sweat and Wu's going down in a red mist cloud. Carter remains completely still. Her voice is level, moderate. She's done this before. Let's all stay focused. No need for this to get ugly. She speaks quietly to Wu, who listens without turning his focus entirely on the Trill. We need to find Raymond. These are the people who can help us do that. She's right. Let's focus on Raymond. It's weird to be saying my own name that much while reading. Something not about me. You can tell the orc has had enough of the tension. She blurts it out. The old man wanted us to take him to Kulun Walled City. She waves a hand at the three of you. You too. Two large rats, clinging to her hip and shoulder, poke their heads out of the folds of her clothing. They fix their beady eyes on you intently. You know the walled city? Slum, right? I've heard of it. A girl sneers, rolling her eyes. It's a shithole. The worst slum in the Eastern Hemisphere. Memories of going up to the Redmond Barrens flash through your mind. Growing up in the Redmond Barrens. We get it. It's a real bad place. Now why would a little old man pay you to take him there? The dwarf standing next to her nods and jumps in. Wouldn't say. He mumbled a lot too. Just kept rambling on and on about how he had to get in. Under ordinary circumstances, I never would have accepted the gig. The walled city's the last place I want to go. But the old man rode up a truckload of Nuyen, and you gotta eat, right? Wu risks a glance at you. His weapon remains trained on the Shadowrunners, but a flicker of uncertainty plays across his face. It's an interesting story. Seems like a good time to ramp down the threat of violence, don't you think? Latrell flashes you a smile. That's all tusk and no warmth. Okay, gang, I tell you what. He looks at his team and slowly starts to lower his weapon. We're all going to pull our guns down. And get ambushed. The sound of high-caliber rifle shots hang in the air, and the red dots of laser sights sweep the area. Carter, the troll, and the silent elf lay dead in the widening pools of blood, their heads broken open like melons dropped from a floor-story building. The orc girl screams from cover. Nightjar, come on, big guy, talk to me. Gunshot? No. She turns to the door, her eyes wide with fear. Oh shit, this isn't good. A voice blares out from a loudspeaker. This is the police. Lay down your weapons, put your hands behind your head, and come out where we can see you. Duncan Wu, John Black, come out where we can see you. You have 3 seconds. Duncan crouches behind cover, his eyes locked on Carter's corpse. His voice comes out in a hoarse roar. Stand down, damn it. I'm law enforcement, a Lone Star. Lone Star. He's driven deeper into cover by a hail of gunfire. The dwarf shakes her head at him. Her voice is flat. Save your breath. They won't listen. Use your eyes. Those bastards aren't here to make arrests. A sniper shot hits the wall next to her head, showering her in an explosion of plaster. Let's see. We need a way out of here. Now. Everyone pipe down. Just give me a minute. The rat girl stares at the ground intently as if listening, then her brow furrows, her eyes go beady, and her nose wrinkles up. She begins to sway back and forth, her lips moving soundlessly. She snaps out of her trance. Okay, I got a way out. It's at the end of the street. Everyone come with me. Everyone? We don't need the rent-a-cops. Gobbet. We're the only ones. The little orc whips her head towards her friend. Their extra firepower is. I got us an exit, but we're going to get past. But we've got to get past the heat, and we can't shoot our way out of this on our own. If nothing else, they can soak up a few rounds for us. She turns to you. Her pupils pinpricks of intensity. Just stick to cover and keep close. There's a door down the street that leads to a back alley. That's our exit point. You fall behind, you get left behind. So you start moving down the street. Guy coming from that way. Well, they're really hitting her. Okay, she can heal herself for a little bit. Okay, that guy's down. Down line. guy's down. Okay, he's down. It might be possible to use the network connection on this police motorcycle to do some damage to their local network. Deactivate the drones. The police drones power down. Making all these long-range shots. Spirit. Move forward. A lot of repositioning right now. Good shot there. Thing all the way back here. And that's where we're trying to go. Spirit didn't last very long, but at least it would act as a good distraction. There we go. Cop, and then we can leave. That sounds bad. And we're missing everything. Go. bit of healing. Move up. That guy's coming up behind us now. Damn it. Almost out of here. Get her out first because she's the most damaged. See, get her out. And the rest of us out. The rat shaman guides you from the doorway on the street through it, and a doorway on the street through an eternity of winding alleys, damp sub-basements, and empty empty buildings. Stumbling through refuse and filth, you make your way into the shores below Victoria Harbor. It reeks down here, but it's quiet. Gobbet stops, sniffs, and wipes her eyes with the back of her wrist. Her rats squeak softly in the folds of her clothing. The dwarf watches her silently for a moment, then moves closer and gently takes her hand. The dim light of the shore, you can see they're nearly the same age. No more than 20, 21 tops. Need a rest? The two women exchange a glance. No, we're good. Gobbet looks back the way you came. I think we've shaken them. She sniffs the air. Yeah, we're clean. Will begins pacing, his boots splashing in the shore water, creating echoes. Down the tunnel, you can feel the tension coming off him in waves. This is bullshit. I'm done messing around in the alleys and shores. I'm done running from cops. He pokes a thumb at his chest and spits his anger forth in a raspy growl. For fuck's sakes, I am a cop. We noticed. There's a Lone Star Sergeant dead back there. Damaged she was. Wu starts to choke up. He struggles against it, fighting to maintain control. But he needs a minute to recover. He's finally managed to pull it together, but he's raw. When he speaks again, his voice is seething and hoarse. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Hong Kong cops, but I'm calling in some Lone Star backup from home. I'm going to get some of my own people down here. Then we're going to find Raymond and figure out what the hell is going on. The little orc shrugs. Whatever you say, big guy. You have fun with that. She looks over at her friend. They both nod. Iz and I are out of here. Best of luck finding your friend. Your people died in a hell of sniper fire. You're not going to do anything about it? Of course we're going to do something about it. In fact, we're going to do two things. Run and hide. Look, we got you to safety, but now we are done with this shit. We don't intend to die for you. Wu isn't listening. You can see on his face that he's already ran the orc girl off. He pulls his security-grade PDA from a toaster on his left leg, raises it and starts tapping the buttons with a meaty finger. The Lone Star logo on the back of the device looks shiny and official. He stops confused, then taps it again harder. The red flashing image on the PDA reflects on his goggles. What the hell? I'm locked out of the network. He looks up at you. My law enforcement status has been revoked. He goes back to the screen. I don't believe it. They're saying there's an APB out on us, John. You and me both. I figured as much. You heard them on the loudspeaker. They knew our names. Wu glares at the wall, a storm raging across his face. Fucking hell. His hand clenches into a fist around his PDA. This just keeps getting worse. He leans forward as to punch the wall, his knuckles rapping against it softly, a pantomime of the barely constrained rage. He suddenly turns and slings his PDA to the far wall. It hits hard. bounces back and clatters to the ground at his feet. He looks down at it, spent. The orc mouths an okay to herself, eyebrows raised. And on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Come on, Isabel. Let's... She's cut off by the sun smashing as her friend's boot comes down on the PDA at Wu's feet. The dwarf looks down at her work, unsatisfied, and brings her foot down again and again and again. There's nothing left but a snarl of plastic housing, broken glass, and circuit board. She looks up at Wu, her chest heaving, and points at the pile of scrap she's created. Police issued. They can trace you through that. She turns to you and hands out. You too, it's on the network. Well, see, hand her your PDA. Well, there goes all my free upgrade points. Isabel takes her PDA and repeats her boot stomping. There. She looks over her goblet, sighs, and reaches into her pocket, pulling out 2 new PDAs. She hands them to you and Duncan. Burners, I suppose it's the least we can offer, after your help back there. Thanks. Now what? No, I think you smell of elderberries. Let's see. Now we get out of this, sir, and head our separate ways. Right, Isabel isn't listening. She's staring open-mouthed at her own PDA, its bluish glow illuminating her horrified expression. Gobbet, we gotta go. Right now. Isabel's voice is monotone, but empathetic. She holds... Empathetic. I guess is the word. She holds up her PDA to show her friend. They're after us, too. Her screen displays a local newscast. Your own face stares back at you from the upper left corner of the screen. And in breaking news just under an hour ago, Hong Kong port authorities were involved in a firefight with members of the terrorist cell linked to the mainland city-state of Henan. The battle left 3 terrorists dead, along with an unconfirmed number of Hong Kong police officers. Your image rings out, replaced by a sculling image of Duncan Wu, a mugshot from a long time ago, before Raymond. Again, it's weird to have say my name that much reading through this. Our sources report that Seattle natives, Duncan Wu and John Black, along with their Hong Kong-based accomplices, are still at large. They are all well armed and should be considered extremely dangerous. Low-res photographs of Gobbet and Isabel pop up on screen, replacing Duncan Wu. The color drains out of Gobbet's face. Oh shit. Newscaster. Kowloon officials report that the terrorist cell known as the White Star maintain ties to the state of Henan, and it's purported to be receiving weapons and funding from anti-corporate groups, the UCAS and City-State of Seattle. Port authorities are standing on high alert, and the Hong Kong Police Force's Special Duties Unit has been engaged to deal with the threat. We go live now to Chief Inspector Corrett of the Special Duties Unit, who will be making a statement. Behind the newscaster video window displays the location of your firefight in Victoria Harbor. The camera pans to Chief Inspector Corrett. She is surrounded by a swarm of news reporters, but appears unfazed by the attention. She speaks with supreme confidence. We have yet to ascertain the motive of tonight's attack, but it was clearly a well-planned and coordinated effort. Corrett sounds smooth, more like a corporate mouthpiece than a cop. We have already issued an all-points bulletin along with a kill or capture order for the 4 remaining terrorists, and have instructed the Special Duties Unit to make this manhunt a top priority. She looks directly at the camera. If you should see one or more of these individuals, do not attempt to engage them. Instead, tap in the HKPF flash code at the bottom of the screen. If you are on an authorized network, take a picture. Our system will automatically identify them in your data stream. The Decker switches off the newscast and clips her PDA back onto her belt. For a moment, there's no sound, but the roar of shore water rushing through the pipes. Gobbet bends over, hand on her knees, sucking wind. Her rats scurrying for a new position. Yeah, we're fighting Haku. They're framing us as terrorists because they don't want us fighting Haku. They're on his side. I thought we were fucked before. Wu's voice is eerily calm, but now we are well and truly fucked. Doesn't look good, does it? His mouth tightens. Not at all. Begins stalking back and forth. A panther in a cage. They're labeled us terrorists, and there's an APB out on us. I've heard this kind of announcement before. I know what comes with it. It doesn't matter if we have nothing to do with that whatever city-state. They're going to hunt us down. It's open season. Isabel nudges the remains of Wu's PDA with her booted toe, and the two of us will be hunted down right alongside you. Gobbet wide-eyes the exits. Tight as a spring. You can hear Shallow panting as she leans forward. One, then the other. We gotta go deep. Hit the mainland for a while until we can figure this out. Find a hole to crawl into. Yeah, we're anarchists. We're not commies. I don't think commies would become Shadowrunners. Gobbet looks at Isabel, wipes her mouth and points at you and Duncan. We gotta get them off the grid too. Way off. The dwarf looks up at Duncan, her large eyes narrow. Hey, Lone Star. You got a security license, right? That means you have a sin too? Wu brows furrow. Of course I have a sin. I won't be able to get paid otherwise. Only criminal and lowlives go sinless. She runs her hand along her cipher deck, thinking. That means you can be traced too, both of you. You get spotted by a drone or a security camera, you get ID'd by a retinal scanner, or try to use your cred stick or passport, and the HKPF will know just where to find you. A sin, which I think David knows, but Chris might not know. But a sin is like a social security number. Just about. I don't remember what the exact the exact thing is. That's the easiest way to think about it, but it's more than just that. Let's see. Wu crosses his arm across his chest. I know how a system... Okay, so that's what it stands for. System Identification Number works, runner. Leave her alone, Duncan. We're all in this together. Gobbet pulls at her dreadlocks. We're just as screwed as you are. We are listed as your accomplices, and we can't afford to get you to get caught. You lead them to us one way or another. DNA samples, things we've told you, Astra residue, I don't know, cop stuff. The little decker looks from you to Wu, eyes narrow, sizing you up. You can see her make a silent decision before she speaks. Her voice is flat, resigned. We need to get your sins burned, delete you from the record books. All of them. All of them? Whoa, wait a minute. You want us to just erase our identities? Rue rubs a hand across his scalp. Beyond the fact that it's insane, will that even work? If you burn our sins, go off the grid like that, won't they just redouble their efforts to find us? Yeah, I have to agree with David. Seems like you have some issues. Condensation seeps its way into Isabel's dry tone. Imagine playing a game of hide and seek, with a siren strapped to your head. Would you rather try and hide with the siren, or with the siren conspicuously absent? So let's get on with it. What do we have to do? Gobbet's voice drops. We gotta ask for help. There's only one person we know that has that kind of pull. That kind of pull it takes to burn a sin and hide us from the cops. Kindly Chang. Let me guess. This Kindly Chang is some kind of underworld hard-ass? Like a walnut. She's what's known as a straw sandal, kind of a middle manager for the Yellow Lotus Syndicate. They're triad. Kindly Chang controls all the local activity in her neighborhood. Smuggling, bootlegging, counterfeiting. Sounds like my kind of scum. She leans in, serious as death. This is no joke. Kindly Chang controls a good-sized portion of Kowloon's underworld. She has soldiers, resources, she's smart, and she is not to be underestimated. Isabel's voice is hollow and flat. Taking favors from a woman like Kindly Chang is a good way to get yourself into indentured servitude. You don't want to owe favors to a woman like that. Her eyes get big, round. Ideally, you don't want to deal with her at all. That was Nightjar's job. Wait a minute, you know this woman? We've only met once or twice. Nightjar was the one who worked with her. Like I said, she's got her fingers in everything, including brokering Shadowrunners for the corpse. Kindly Chang is our fixer. Yeah, those damn corporate people. See, Gobbet tries to make her voice light, confident. Just stay on her good side and you'll have nothing to worry about. Now let's get this done before one of you tips the APB and brings all hell down upon us. So we're not terrorists. We're just here trying to find our stepfather. And the cops shot at us for no reason. Confirm. Oh, all this talking's drying my throat out. Let's see, sinless. You scrabble up a ladder and through an accessway where the shore system spits you onto Hong Kong Mass Transit Railway System, the MTR. Crossing the rails, you climb up the platform and into the station. Above you is Hioi. Hioi? I think I said it better the first time. Where the rat shaman and the little decker plan to plead your case to Kindly Chang, the one woman they know who can help you get underground and off the grid fast. But there's a price. There'll be a price. Chang is a triad boss whose favors tend to come with strings attached. The sounds of the waterfront at night leaks down the stairway to the surface. Peering up the steps, you can catch a glimpse of the night sky overcast and low. And we got some karma. The stairway deposits you into a series of mechanical access ways that eventually link to a system of railway tunnels. Gobbet leads you through 5 or 6 magnetically sealed doors and across several sets of electrified track, which indicates you've reached your destination. Shows of hand indicating the surrounding platform. This is the NTR station for Hioi. Hioi? Once you go up these stairs, you'll be in our neighborhood. Kindly Chang runs our operation out of a mahjong parlor there called Swift Winds. Wu rips off his goggles. There's an APB out on us. How do you expect us to get to this Swift Wind place without taking a bullet? Hioi is well known as a protected area. Kindly Chang sees to that. It's a shadow community. Smugglers, hijackers, black marketeers. You got the idea. Cops tend to give us their wide berth. Isabel gives a shallow nod. Her gaze remains planted on the floor. The police cameras don't last long here. Between the smog and the cloud cover, we shouldn't have to worry about drone surveillance either. The HKPF won't find you. Not if you follow our lead. Gabbett widens her stance, puts her hands on her hips. Now here's how we're going. Slow down. Deep breaths. Start over. Now here's how this is going to work. You can't get an audience with Chang until we secure you an invitation. So me and Iz will go on ahead and pay our respects. Then we'll request she'll see you politely. An invitation? How do we get that? The rat shaman smirks. We'll kiss her ass until it shines. Isabel sighs. That's about the size of it. Gabbett holds up a hand. One more thing. Kindly Chang is a dangerous woman. She may seem friendly. Don't let your guard drop. Whatever you do, do not disrespect her. Got it. She drops her hand, nods to the three of you. That's it. We'll go on ahead and smooth the way. Just give us a few minutes head start and don't talk to anyone. If this place is protected, why shouldn't we talk to anyone? She rose her eyes and lets out a grunt. I said the place was protected, not you're protected. Isabel fiddles with your deck. No one knows you here, and outsiders aren't welcome in Hioi. Gabbett eyes Wu up and down. Plus, your friend here radiates cop. Cops are even less welcome than outsiders. She then looks your way. You're not exactly ordinary either, are you? I am what I am. She smiles for the first time. Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about. If people see us strolling through town together with no prior explanation, we might not make it to the mahjong parlor at all. Thanks for the help. She squints at you confused. We're helping ourselves as much as we're helping you, Seattle. We need your sins burned as badly as you do. And we need to figure out a way out of this shit, or we're all dead. Plus, we could use the muscle right now. Her voice turns sheepish. Just saying. She quickly turns away. See you at the mahjong parlor. The Shadowrunner footsteps quickly fall away, and then you're alone with Wu. He grunts something all unintelligible and begins panther stalking back and forth again. Blueprints of sewer and muck making his path on the subway platform behind him. Marking, not making. Or maybe making, being right to. Minutes pass. Wu stops his pacing and runs both hands over his face, groaning a sound of anxiety and disgust. It dissipates, and he stands there silently, his hands covering his face and his shoulders shaking with emotion. Then he begins to laugh. It's a laugh that comes from deep down, from the place where fear and frustration and impotence swirl. But the barrier holds. Wu focuses, taking control of his breathing, and his laughter begins to slow. He becomes himself again. Oh my god, John. An aftershock of laughter shudders through him. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell are we doing here? How did we get into this? He drops his hands and turns to you, shaking his head. I think I'm gonna lose it. Go ahead. We're alone. Wu walks to the wall of the subway station silently. He stands there a moment, lost in thought, and then his fists explode in a flurry of punches. He hits the wall hard, sending plaster crumbling to the floor at his feet. The orc breathes heavily for a moment, heads down, hand on his hips. Hands on hips, spent. Carter is dead, John. They fucking ended her. He put a hand on his forehead. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Just focus on finding Raymond. So that's it, sister. Carter down the memory hole and bury her deep. My partner's death behind me and carry on like a good little Lone Star. He holds up a hand. Don't answer. His voice goes flat. He's done. It doesn't matter anymore. We're stuck in this country, surrounded by criminals. And the police are trying to blow our heads off. He grabs the back of his neck, squeezes. Screw it. Maybe I should just let him, Why? Because we're gonna burn our souls, John. Our sins, not souls, our sins. Ugh. Jesus Christ, you know what that means? The moment we do that, we're dead. To all the world, we're dead. We're wiped clean. He counts off on his fingers. Raymond, the house grew up in, my career, Carter, all gone. No home, no money, no identification, nothing. He waves his hand, brushes it all away. We will be nobody. I'm going to find a way out of this. Just follow my lead like you did in the old days. You want to bring up the old days? Are you fucking serious? You left the old days behind years ago. Wu's neck cranes forward, his lower jaw thrusts out ahead of him. You left me behind. You left me behind. The memories flashes bright. Suddenly you're back 8 years ago on the street outside Raymond's house, just you and Wu in the middle of the night. Young Duncan. You can't just leave like this, John. What am I going to say to Raymond? You know how he is. Yeah, I know he is. Inflexible. Exactly. We're breaking one of his rules, just being outside the house after curfew. What's so important that you have to run out now, in the middle of the night, without even telling Raymond why? He's distraught. You can see it on his face, hear it in his voice. He used to be lost without you. I got a friend in a bind, Duncan. That's all I'm going to say about it. I have to go help. His eyes widen. I thought I knew all your friends. He shakes his head. I don't like this, John. It sounds like we're like the kind of shit we've said we've left behind. Look, whatever happens, I can tell you one thing. Raymond will not approve. I'll deal with that when I get back. I won't be gone long. 2-3 days tops. Remember the look on Duncan's face as you walk away. The event that follows were a blur, one you don't care to remember. 3 days later, you're behind bars in a private corporate prison. No interrogation, no charges, no appeal. Years later, some corporation brought some other corporation, and the new board of directors pushed through some sort of reform agenda. The higher ups give an order, and then you're out with a few hundred million to your name and one scary as hell non-disclosure agreement to ensure your silence. Not that it matters anymore. You were starting fresh, determined. Till Raymond tracked you down, left you that voicemail, brought you to Hong Kong, and back together with Duncan Wu. You realize that Wu's been staring at you. Now let's hear it. Where the hell have you been all this time? Why didn't you contact me? At least tell me you're alive. You're pissed that I didn't contact you? I was locked up, Duncan, for years. You're a cop. Why didn't you go looking for me? You think I didn't? I tried everything. You're completely off the grid. The information finally sinks in, and he dials back at the attitude, and now I understand why. Locked up, huh? Shit. The range of emotion plays across Wu's face. He stares at the ground for some time, before finally looking back up at you with a heavy sigh. Well, I didn't really know how to process that one right now. He shakes his head. I don't know. If we're still alive tomorrow, we can talk more. This shit is too much. We're marooned on this island, hunted by the cops. My partner's dead, and Raymond is missing. We're about to go see a crime lord about erasing our goddamn identities. And as a bonus, our only allies are a pair of tiny criminals who would kill us if they could, so they didn't have to deal with us. He rubs his head viciously. Listen, John, back in the Barrens whenever I was out of control, you just handled the situation, remember? With Carter gone, I'm just a raw nerve. I'm afraid I'm going to slip back, and people are going to start getting hurt again. I got the lead, Duncan, just like I used to. He stares at you hard, like he's trying to see something inside your head. Then he checks his weapon. Cocks and locks back to business. Good. Well, let's go meet that triad when we get our damn sins burned. I want to rip off the bandage as fast as I can. Oi. A makeshift boat city latched onto the Kai-Tak riverfront like a parasite. Behind you, a massive snarl of dark and derelict high rises dominate the horizon. The walled city. Let's see. No one will talk to me right now. Because, like the Gobbin and Isabel said, I'm an outsider. There's, I think, a guy down here I can talk to about and buy some equipment from. I think it's the smuggler. Just off the docks, you spot a sea-worn man with a smile that's almost too wide for his head. His teeth shine white against his thick black bush of his beard. His clothes are mirrored of colors, patterns, and fabrics. A smattering of cultures draped across his body. If there's anything he's clearly advertising, it's the extent of his travels. You see something you like? His voice is coarse, like still wool in your on your eardrums. Come and get it, because now's your last chance. Everything's on sale. Won't find prices like this anywhere else, my friend. Show me what you're selling. Let's see. Sell the drugs we found earlier. I think that's it. And there's the katana. I can get that later. Let's see, does he have a deck? No, it doesn't look like he does. So I have to rely on Isabel. Let's see. 1300. Sniper rifle's expensive. The range might be nice. Never mind for now. The guy really doesn't have anything I want. Whew. So you guys liking this so far? Mostly just me reading and a couple of little fights so far, but it's been entertaining for me so far. Little dragon. This will probably be the weekly live stream until I'm done, until I beat the game, and then I'll do something else. And let's go talk to Kindly. Swiftful Wind's Mahjong parlor, filled with the stink of cigarette smoke, the insistent click-clank of Mahjong tiles, the grim faces of hardened gamblers. So you come in, we have a lot to talk about. You can feel you calm down, start over. You can feel every eye in the room as you cross the Mahjong parlor to the middle-aged woman sitting patiently at its end. The click-clack of ivory-colored tiles stop. Hands stay beneath tables into jackets, pockets behind backs. The woman has the face of a prison guard, the demeanor of an inmate. Her salt and pepper hair is pulled into an iron-hard bun, and beneath it, two shiny black eyes offer nothing. Buttons swoon on a doll. A nearly empty bottle of something foul rests on her mahjong table, nestled between a pair of dirty shot glasses. Tiny puddles of brown liquor linger at their bottoms. Gab and Isabel stand on either side of the table, heads lowered, shoulders slumped, hands clasped. They risk a frightened glance at you as you approach. Kindly Cheng's voice is nasal and rusty mean. My little pair of fuck-ups here tell me all about what happened on the docks. She dips a pinky to a shot glass, brings it to her mouth, removes it with a sharp smack. How two of my best runners had their heads pulled out. How you need protection, and how you need to get your identities wiped before you get your heads pulled out too. Potentially leading the heat to my front door, placing me and everyone in my employ in danger. She fingers the rim of her glass. So wise, so very, very wise. The young shaman's eyes never leave the floor. We're sorry, Auntie, we thought. Her black eyes flash. You mustn't speak until you're spoken to, Gobbet, dear. The smile turns mean. And since you are one short hair away from being dumped in the river chained to Isabel's corpse, I suggest you let your new friends here do the talking for a while. Does that make sense to you, dear? Her tear-soul voice is back, sweet, nasal, and grinding. Dark circles ring Gobbet's armpits. She's sweating. Yes, Auntie. Chang inclines her head gently. Very good. You learn so quickly. Remain silent. She pours another drink. Her cheeks are rosy, already flushed. Now, my darlings, I understand from little rat shit here that you came from Seattle to meet with my client, Mr. Black. Wu jaws tightened the words, client. But before you could find him, the HKPF started splattering gray matter everywhere, and everything went to shit. Okay. Now you need your sins burned, so you can disappear before you end up dead too. Is that right? Yes, ma'am. Very good. Why don't you start telling me who you are? Call me Evil 4. Oh, you're already choosing a street name. How persistent of you. Chang looks at you approvingly. Evil 4. It's a good name. Has real character. She flares her eyelashes at you. Now what's your real name? I mean, do you want to erase your identity, don't you, dear? I need to know who you are first. John, I do what needs doing. She rests her chin on her hand. Rest her chin on her hand. I know the type. And how did you become someone who does what needs doing, John? Picked it up young. I've been in the cooler for a few. Wu farrows and he shakes his head, still can't believe it. Kindly Cheng whips her head towards Wu, a nasty retort already on her lips. But then she stops. Sticks out her lower lip as she sizes him up. She turns her lieutenant stand behind her and nods her head approval. Looks like the gun show's in town. What's your name, gun show? Wu's focus remains straight ahead. Duncan Wu, I'm a cop. Lone Star. I hear there are some fresh corpses found on the docks tonight. Smugglers, I believe. Didn't sound like the Hong Kong police when I heard about it. You're doing Duncan Wu? Wu's eyes remain fixed on the spot behind her. He smolders. I identified myself as Lone Star, but they didn't stand down. They had weapons. It was self-defense. She puckers her lips at him, her voice sing-song. I don't care, sweetie. They weren't my people. But now I know you're a life-taker, Mr. Gunshow. You and your friend here. She begins arranging mahjong tiles on the table in front of her. But now I'm curious. Why were you meeting Raymond Black on the docks? Raymond Black is our foster father. That makes her pause. Chang lifts her bottle of swill and eyes the label, connecting the dots in her own head. Interesting. A look of disgust passes over her face. Sorry, kids, but he was looking like shit when I saw him. Eyes half open, dark circles around them, dragging his feet the whole bit. She tisks in disappointment. Your foster daddy was in a bad place. Sounds like he wasn't sleeping. Could be. From what he said, it sounded like he was having nightmares. He would stop in the middle of a sentence and mutter something to himself. One time it was about the walls, breathing or something. Another time it was about teeth. Thousands of teeth. I remember him drifting off near the end of our meeting. It looked like he was off somewhere else in his head. He said, I left prosperity in there. Then Nightjar put his hand on Mr. Black's shoulder, asked him why he wanted to go into the Walled City so badly. That seemed to bring him back. When your old man opened his eyes, they were full of tears. Then he mothered something I couldn't make out. She pours herself another shot, tosses it back and rubs her belly. Your daddy got real irritating after a while. I can imagine. She grabs a long, slim cigar from a pack on the mahjong table, lights it. Alright, let's get to it. She exhales smoke and points two fingers at you and Wu. You two need your sins burned, and you need them burned fast. Hong Kong dragnets are bad news. When they roll in force. Armed personnel carriers, heavy armor, heavy weapons, sorcerers, the whole thing. And they aren't coming to arrest you. She folds her arms across her chest. A thin cigar bobs in her mouth as she speaks. Good news is, I can help you. With a wave of my hand, I can have your sins disappear. But you need to understand, my darlings, is that what you're asking for is not a simple request. Burning a sin isn't just deleting a number. It's wiping all reference to that number from all the world's largest databases. It masks your mugshot in their facial recognition database so that the first camera you walk past doesn't bring them down on you like a ton of bricks. It's covering our fucking tracks so that the act of burning your sin doesn't lead them right to us. It requires contacts in numerous corporations and the UCAS government. Smoke rose out from the triad boss's nose. It requires someone like me. Therefore, I need to make a choice. She takes another drag of her cigar and gently places her palm flat on the table. Do I kill you and dispose of your bodies before the cops come looking for you, or do I help you burn your sins? We're more valuable alive. Help us, and we'll help you. Chang rests her chin on her hands again and smiles at you. Are you, my darling? If you're dead, things appear to become much less complicated. If you're alive, she stares at you for a long moment. Chin still on hands, thinking, taps her ash on the floor without taking her eyes off you. A low, reluctant growl rumbles somewhere deep in her throat. Okay, you live for now. I'll put your sins to the torch. However, I need to call in several valuable favors of my network to do it. These favors do not come cheap. Kindly Chang stubs out her cigar. You will owe me. Whatever you say, Auntie. Don't roll over so easy, my darling. People will think you're an ass kisser. It's unbecoming. I want you to deliver a message for me to a business associate in the walled city. The Yellow Locust has a strong presence inside. John, Isabel, I can tell you all about it, can't you, dear? Isabel grew up in the walled city. Isabel's eyes remain lowered. They collect taxes for the corporations, extort protection money from the shopkeepers, run drugs, guns, people. They hurt people. We do those things too, yes. But to be fair, we also operate the walled city's black market. You might not be alive today if we weren't for the lifeline that we provide. Isabel clams up tight. Kindly picks up a mahjong tile and turns it with her fingers. There's a red pole, a sort of enforcer, yes, on the inside. His name is Strangler Bao. Bao is a strong man, a good soldier, but he has forgotten his place. I need you to remind him. How are we supposed to do that? She tosses you a memory stick. This is a message for Bao. You deliver it to him, in my name, and then return to me. Remember that Bao's men are my men. By right, they should be serving me. I'd prefer it if you did this quietly, without killing them. I have no use for dead soldiers. She turns to Gobbet and Isabel. One of you go with these two Westerners to the walled city, help them locate Bao, and show them the ropes. The other remain here with me. I have several meaning and degrading tasks to be done around the establishment. No matter who goes, who stays, you both pay for bringing the APB to my doorstep. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Now I'm going to find out who ordered the hit on Nightjar, and do some dentistry on him with my power tools. She closes her eyes and smiles with pleasure. The boy was my favorite. He sang to me sometimes. She opens her eyes again and sneers. The other one, I don't care about. Goodshot was an asshole. Let's see, she turns and waves you off with the back of her hand. That'll be all, my darlings. To me when you're done. Deal. Who turns to leave? Well, we're still alive. That's something. We got more karma. Let's see what we can do level up wise. Get decking to 3. And we'll pull point shotguns too. And we'll pick one up later. Okay. I might be able to get a deck before we continue on. I just remembered. Don't remember if this place is open now or later. No, the guy's not here. Well, let's talk to the smuggler again. Gonna buy a shotgun. Okay. Wish I could get a deck, but it looks like I won't be able to find one. I'll have to bring Isabel with me. Probably should have made my guy Decker starting out so I would start with a deck and then spec into Street Samurai afterwards. Oh well. Fix it later. The Triad Guard. The thug taps his earpiece, gestures with his head. Auntie Chang said you'd be coming. You can pass. Uh-huh. Okay. Duncan's locked in. It's a choice between Gobbet the Shaman, Isabel the Decker. I think I need Isabel. Built to do this covertly. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Don't have my own deck, so I have to rely on her. City of Darkness. Kowloon Walled City. The most densely populated spot on Earth. Nearly 40,000 people crammed into 7 acres of chaos, poverty, disease, and vice. A self-contained city that collects no taxes and provides no city services. Stagnant water sits in temporary wells. Trash lies piled up on roofs for controlled burns. Improvised structures lean dangerously over populated areas. It's the ideal breeding ground for all manner of idyllic trade, drugs, gambling, black market trade, meta-human trafficking, and everything in between. The only law is triad law. And now you need to enter this septic system of a city, find a triad and force your name Strangler Bao, and deliver a message from Kindly Chang. Let's see. Everything's good. Oof. Foul, oily water rains down from above, mixes with the filth, the awful and swill of the streets, turns into a flowing slurry of unrecognizable sewage. In the distance, the sounds of back alley activity adds to the ambiance. At your arrival, breaking glass, the crackling hiss of a garbage fire, faint scream of terror punctuated by an occasional gunshot. Sex, business and violence and misery blended into one. That's a bad sentence structure there. Wu winces at the stank, waves his hand in front of his face. Raymond said that prosperity is in the walled city, but I don't see it. Why the hell would he want to set one foot in this place? Who knows? You'd have to be insane to travel to the walled city. As I think we said, it's the worst slum in the Eastern Hemisphere, maybe the worst in the world. She does her best to suppress a shudder. Can't keep the dread from creeping in her voice. Can't believe I grew up here. Sorry to have to drag you back. Isabel looks around her, closes her eyes. Could have brought Gobbin instead. I would have been cool with that. She peers up at the catwalks and sky bridges that connect the rotting tenement sagging architecture. Frowning, she points to a spot in the distance. There was a market over there when I was a kid. Might not be a bad place to start. I thought you knew where to find Strangler Bao. I do. We need to get to the Lotus Den. That's what Bao calls the little island of control that he's carved out for himself. It's a stupid name, but it's stuck. We have guards posted at every entrance. We might be able to find a way around them and through the market. That's what Kindly would prefer. They probably aren't expecting anyone to come in force. We can kick the doors down, drop the guards, hand over the message, and get the hell out of there. Whew. Oh, it is Ji's hometown. I forgot about that. Kindly doesn't want them dead. She wants them to remember where their loyalties lie. It's tough to remember much of anything when you got a bullet in your head. I mean, we could kill them if you really wanted to, technically. Bao's the only one that has to live. But I'd rather keep Auntie Chang happy than piss her off again. That'd be up to them. If they don't try and kill us, they live. Got it. Let's get this done. Whew. Again, with all the talking, voice is getting sore. Lovely place. And there's a merchant. Bedraggled old woman looks up from her sewing at the table, approaches you. Clothing. I have good quality clothing for sale. Later. When I remember she doesn't have anything important to say, so I'm not gonna risk my voice. The young woman lies on the ground. She's a bloody mess. Streaks and splatters of crimson crisscross her blouse and mat her hair. Judging by the quality of her clothing, the bag on her shoulder, you'd make her out as a student. She's as out of place here as a librarian would be in the game of urban brawl. She struggles to move, but she's clearly exhausted. The dark circles under her eyes tell you that she hasn't slept in days. When the woman sees you heading her way, her face hardens. You see her hand slip into her jacket pocket. But as she studies you, the fear in her eyes gives way to curiosity. You guys don't look like you're from around here. A hacking cough shakes her, but her eyes remain fixed on you. You either. Who are you? I'm a student at HKU. She glances around watchfully over your shoulder at the building looming above her into windows nearby. doing some research. Gotta finish before I can leave. This place is dangerous. What are you doing here alone? I wasn't alone until a couple days ago. Another long, wet cough. I've been living with a family in one of the inner blocks for the last couple of months, working on my master's thesis. Funny place to write a thesis. Her voice takes on defensive edge. It's the right place for mine. My thesis is on feng shui in the sixth world. What does feng shui have to do with a slum? Everything, I think, absolutely everything. Rich people here hire geomancers to design the interior of their homes, to tune them to the right, just right to achieve balance and harmony. The poor have nothing like that. Leave a slum to fester long enough and you get this. She glances at her surroundings, a look of profound disgust on her face. I think that the negative feng shui of places like this affect the people who live here, that it changes them in a fundamental way, makes them less capable of breaking the cycle and getting out. That's what I'm trying to prove. Before the awakening, people thought of feng shui as a philosophical system. Now in the sixth word is more than that. It's an actual form of magic. The whole thing revolves around ki, the invisible life energy that binds every person and thing together. It's real. It's very real here in Hong Kong, and nobody knows the reason why. Maybe it's only real because people believe that it is. The important thing is, it's a measurable, quantifiable phenomenon. It's an entire industry that's growing up around it. This doesn't look like a place where people are harmonized with anything. No, it isn't. Not at all. The feng shui in the walled city is completely screwed. I mean, just look at the place. She gestures at the squall surrounding you. The key here is all wrong. You can feel it, right? I feel that something was wrong the minute I walked in. Bad key, huh? Key needs to flow. Positive feng shui allows that to happen. If key gets pent up and trapped, it goes sour. That's what's happening here. The woman clears her throat and lets out a hacking cough. The effort requires a moment for her to recover before she speaks again. You know, I hate to admit it, but I could use some help. I started running and, well, I guess you could call it an experiment of sorts. Nothing conclusive, just a few quick trials to support my hypothesis before I go into hardcore Day of the Gathering mode. There are only a few things left to do. If you could finish them for me, I could get out of here. She holds out a crumpled piece of paper. Please follow the notes on this sheet. Duncan takes the paper from her outstretched hand and examines it, frowning. Just say what you need us to do. I need to make adjustments to the area's feng shui. My notes will tell you how. The goal is to remove sources of friction to reduce the results. My hypothesis is that even small adjustments can have a measurable impact on key flow. If I'm right, it should improve and life here should just be a little bit better. I'll see what I can do. Feng shui. Let's see the note. There you go. Sparking wires, broken water, burning tires. Okay. Another merchant can actually buy something from you. Okay, what are you selling? Nothing I can use. See, wires are sparking dangerously just above the doorway. Patch them. Quick patch job with some nearby waste rubber leaves the wire safe once more. There's some over here we could do, but we didn't bring Gobet with us, so we can't do it. And we're not a shaman ourselves. A well-muscled and heavily tattooed triad member looks up from his PDA, bored but alert. Behind him, other yellow Lotus soldiers take notice and turn to leer at you. You're in the wrong neighborhood, tourist boy. You and all your tourist friends. I'm a local. I work for Kindly Chang, so show some respect. A triad soldier sneers at her. That's so? Then you already know that she shouldn't be here. The fossil doesn't run things around here anymore. His hand stays to his jacket and a conspicuous bulge in the fabric. Could be a gun, a knife, or a blackjack. Best get moving, little girl. Best move before we hurt you all real bad. I'm not going to tell you twice. Sorry to bother you. Don't want to fight those guys, like I said. Let's see. Come upon a heavily muscled triad soldier screaming at a bearded old man holding a bleeding nose. The punk like a cheap disposable crud stick in his old man's face. The bright plastic case would look cheerful if it wasn't smeared with blood. This isn't enough. You got two options, old man. You find a way to pay me all the money, or I can drag your bony ass deeper into the wall. Find a spot for yourself there with the pimps and the predators. You should find a nice use for you. Your choice. The old man wails. It's not fair. I can't just pack him and leave. I've been living here for 22 years, and Is this how it's gonna be? He rolls his burly shoulders. Fine by me. I just kick the guy. He's out code. Let's see. Nothing down this way. The tires have been set aflame and have been burning for some time. The smell is awful. Walk away. Bucket of sand. These tires have been set aflame and have been burned for some time. The smell is awful. Pour the sand onto the flames, and the flames go out. Okay. The old rusted water valve might be able to close off the flow of the water that's pouring out the broken pipe. Yep, close it. I'll probably end the stream right before we talk to Strangler Bow. Mostly because after you talk to him, I think there's like another 20-30 minutes of dialogue with Kindly Chang before the next good stopping point, and I don't think I can take that. No, just unlock the door with decking. See, this terminal belongs to Bo's people. I bet we can get something useful out of it. The terminal is locked with a password prompt. I don't have a cyber deck, so I can do it myself. Have Isabel do it. And this is what decking looks like in this game. Need to watch the pattern for a little bit. It goes around like that. That circuit, this guy's on that one. Damn, he saw me. Okay. More here. let's hack it. Okay, so M, that one. Okay. There you go. So hatch deadbolt. Got that. Okay. Let's see what's the other way. I think there's like 2 different ways you can go after this. So blind spots. Damn it. And I guess I don't trigger any more of these guys. Luckily, I don't remember these guys can't hurt me. Does this increase my system trace? Okay, so 2, 6, 4, 7. 2, 6, 4, 7. Geez, so view that starts with that, and there. Okay, I think that's everything in this system. Let's see, what all did we get? Okay. So we got some we can sell basically online. And the security override. So what we have to do now is talk to Strangler about it, but like I said, that'll add a lot more dialogue, and I don't think we have time for that, and I don't think my voice could take it. So I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. Go ahead and save it. And anyways, thank you for joining me for the stream. I'll be doing this same time next week, and probably be continue doing it every Sunday. I might move the stream back a little bit. It starts at 8:30 instead of 8. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna continue doing this for a while. And there might be times where we spend the entire 2 hours heavily focused on me reading stuff, and other times where it's a lot of combat. But I hope it was enjoyable. And thank you all for joining me. And I hope you join me next week. Bye.